What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you, bringing you guys the merch. So I want to take about a newest run to Tiger Records. It was basically an early birthday celebration for myself and a nice little road trip, something I wanted to do to just kind of get away before the craziness of the next couple months. And it was a much needed trip because I think I'm covering nights for like the next month. And nights always kills me mentally, physically, and emotionally. You don't really get a lot of, it's basically just sleep, wake up, go to work, try and sneak in some push-ups or something if you can wake up early enough. So nights always kills me. So this was like an early, basically like a birthday gift to me, but this was also a much needed trip to help clear my head before the craziness starts. This was something I wanted to get out. I wanted to go feel some colder weather, so I drove 6 hours away, basically in one day, and then tried to make the whole trip, and I made it in early the next day. Went up to a couple different places, but on the way up there, after stopping at Buc-ee's, I stopped at Tiger Records. Now, if you're familiar with Tiger Records, it's one of my favorite record stores in the whole country. It's up there in Jacksonville, Florida. Phenomenal shop. You might know the bassist from Bane owns it. So pretty cool dude. I've had the opportunity to meet James a million times. Just super nice. Him and I always talk about like skateboarding and like hardcore punk and just like the scene in Jacksonville, and great dude. He's always been really nice to me. So in a phenomenal record shop for everything hardcore, heavy metal, punk. He's got a phenomenal selection. He's got a million things of other selections too. A lot of blues, a lot of jazz, a lot of classic stuff. So I mean, it's really a rad shop. It always smells good. It's always nice and cold and air conditioned. And it's in a new growing scene that in a part of town that's been famously just run down, and they're really like fixing that area up, and it's awesome to see how it's changed, especially with Tiger Records and like the little yoga store, and then you have the new comic shop next door. You have a phenomenal coffee place called Bold Bean Coffee. If you haven't been there, it's phenomenal. Well, I'm digging through the shelves, and I said, well, I spent a bunch of stuff on my birthday, spent a bunch of money. What, do I really need anything? No, but the store is going to tell me what I need. And of course, I find this Shades of God picture disc by Paradise Lost. This is early, dark but melodic and heavy Paradise Lost, and one of my favorite Paradise Lost records. It's commonly overlooked because most people think about either Lost Paradise, or they think about Gothic, or they think about maybe the Depeche Mode era of Paradise Lost, or maybe they think of the modern stuff with the self-titled going into In Requiem, or maybe they think of Medusa or The Plague Within. So it depends on which era of Paradise Lost you listen to, but this is certainly one of my favorite records by them. My brother got me them. I didn't even realize this album was an album, and I had so many of their CDs already, and he's like, do you have Shades of God? And I said, well, that's the EP, right? He's like, no, that's a full length. And I remember finding the CD in the wild somewhere years ago, and I walk into Tiger Records, digging through the metal section, find this. This was in the new turned in section of like used stuff. It wasn't even the heavy metal or the punk selection. This was actually in the new the new arrivals section. So really glad I found this. It's the picture disc. I know there's a lot of hate for picture discs, but this album is, I'm gonna let you decide what that looks like, but you and I both, the less I say about that, the better. I'm just gonna make you look at it. Phenomenal album itself, but I would say this buries into a lot of like a mixture of draconian with like gothic together creates this album. It's a fantastic record by these guys, and it really does give them a broad range of early Paradise Lost. But I know there's a lot of hate for picture discs, but I thoroughly enjoy this album. And on picture disc, sounds phenomenal. It actually has a great sound quality, and I like playing picture discs. I know there's a lot of hate, but I genuinely enjoy them. The only downside to picture discs is I always want to frame them, and I have a bad habit of wanting to stick them in a frame. But this, I'm probably going to keep in a better sleeve than the one it came in. But this is an excellent Paradise Lost record. If you want to know, everything on here is great, but if you want me to just pick a song for you, I'd say the two songs you need to pick up are Pity the Sadness and As I Die. As I Die is a famous finishing song for Paradise Lost at their live shows, and there's a reason for it. So if you're going to pick two songs, I'd say Pity the Sadness and As I Die. They're both on side B. So fantastic album by these guys. Really just so happy to have it. I have never seen this in the wild before, and it was coming home with me regardless. So very happy to have this. Now this, I didn't know was on a 7-inch, and especially with the backtracks, I mean, this is outstanding. But Indians, Anthrax, great 7-inch, $10, well worth it, and well worth it because of what's on the back. Obviously Indians, which they played in the movie It, the first remake with Andy Muschietti. But on the back, you have Sabbath Bloody Sabbath cover and Taint. Like, what the hell? I had no idea they had put this on a 7-inch. So that had to come home with me. $10, well worth it. Sounds great. This last one, though, I had no idea what this was. And I really, really had no idea what to expect from it. So I have a thing, and when I go into a record store and I see a cover I like, I do like the surprise of finding a random cover that I really like and bring it home. But this one, I actually went on Bandcamp. This was in the dollar 7-inch section. They have a massive hardcore and punk 7-inch section, but they have a dollar section for hardcore punk 7 inches. And I was like, well, they've never done me wrong. I've always picked up good stuff from these guys. And so I was like, this has got to come home to me. So this is City of Ships. It's a 7-inch, 2 songs with 3 Mile Bridge and South Laurel. I never heard of these guys before in my life. Didn't know what to expect. The only way I can expect this is like this band was just getting started out, and they intentionally recorded it with like maybe a sub-perfect quality, but this is really ambient, ethereal, like a little bit of like a flavor of hardcore punk mixed with like shoegaze, and that's basically the best way I can explain it. There's a lot of shoegaze elements to it. It's very ethereal, like I said, very ambient, mixed with like an edginess, like a rawness of hardcore and punk. So if you've never heard of these guys, this is City of Ships, set 3 Mile Bridge and South Laurel, the 2 songs on here. Got this for $1, and it sounds wonderful. I'm so glad I was able to find a copy of that. So that's really it from me. Like I said, Shades of God, City of Ships, and The Indian 7-inch by Anthrax. Pick these up at Tiger Records up in Jacksonville, Florida. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are taking care of each other. This is a shorter album for me while I'm covering the night shift. We got some better videos coming up soon. And then be on the lookout for the best 10 albums of 2025. They're not going to be in a numerical order, just my favorite 10 albums of this year. We got a lot to talk about. Hope you guys are doing well, taking care of each other, and peace.